Thanks for watching this Green Custard Gen AI video. We wanted to ask the question, what if our customers could simply ask questions about SiteWise and their data stored within SiteWise? This SiteWise instance is connected to a smart building, so I'll ask a simple question about the rooms on the ground floor. There we have the answer. We can follow up with a simple question about what data is stored in a particular room, so we can query it later. And here you can see that we have temperature, humidity and the states of lights in that room. We now want to start interacting with the data that's actually stored within SiteWise. So we're going to do a query to get a table of the temperatures for the shop for yesterday. After a bit of thinking, you can see that we've successfully retrieved the data for the shop for yesterday, and it's presented in quite a nice sort of tabular format. You can even click on the data to scroll it, and you can also download that data as a CSV, which is really quite helpful. Next, we'll do a slightly more advanced query, which is to get the max, min and average temperatures for a particular room for February 2024. Bit more thinking, and then we get presented a nice line chart showing all of that data. Here it comes. We also want to make sure that our chatbot is resilient against people entering nonsense entries. So for example, as you'll see in a second, I'm going to type a nonsense question and hopefully it will respond appropriately. You can see that it's determined that that's a completely nonsensical thing to ask and has responded appropriately. You can even ask questions about how it works, and it will actually try to give you sensible responses which guide you in what you can do or not do within this chatbot. The other thing you need to be able to handle is if people don't provide all of the information that's needed in order to respond to a query. For example, I want this particular graph, but I haven't given a date. So what's it going to do with that? Well, it's going to start thinking about it, and then it's going to come back and tell us that it doesn't have the date. So please can we provide that date? So we do. We say yesterday. It can then go away and provide lots of data and information for that room for yesterday. And here's a summary coming up. It's actually provided quite a nice detailed summary, and this sort of shows the advanced sort of features that you can get from a simple chatbot and the sorts of information it can easily display about the data that the user's wanting to get information about. We then do a final query which is asking, basically, can you list all the times and durations of those times that the external temperature was below 10 degrees last week? That's really quite a complex query, but it can handle that fairly easily. And there's the answer. So this chatbot was built as part of a hackathon we held at Green Custard around generative AI and how we can enhance using generative AI to make our customers' experiences better. This is kind of the rough architecture. So there was basically a chatbot that was using Streamlit, and that talks to the customers, and that interacts with both SiteWise and large language models in order to sort of process the user's requests. The next slide will show some of the architecture that we use. So it's not as simple as it might look. There's a lot of classification of the questions into the different types, metadata, one that you can't help with or one that's SiteWise. And from there, it does the appropriate thing and generates the appropriate response for the user. And actually, it turns out to be a really good user experience. It also maintains a chat history for those cases where you don't provide all the data. That's it. If you want to learn more, scan that QR code and get in touch.